Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Peachy from your WCA Earth Science class, and today I'm going to be talking to you about your Unit 8, Lesson 5 portfolio on Paleomagnetism and seafloor spreading. So this one is another lab that is out of your textbook, only this time I am not going to require that you write up an entire lab report for this. I'll kind of give you an alternate method to do that I think is a little bit easier simply because of the images and stuff that we need to use for this portfolio. So when I go on to the third slide here, it links me to the textbook, which when we open the textbook, let me just kind of bring this down here, we will see, this is on page 272, you're going to see a little pencil in the upper left corner, and you might be like, hey, I never saw that pencil there before, but guess what, it's been there all year. You can click on this pencil and it's going to open up a lab sheet, like a worksheet. And normally I don't have you complete the lab sheet because these are not something you can type into, so it gets to be a little bit tricky. But if you have a printer and you have the ability to scan it, then you can print this, write directly on the printed document, scan it back into your computer, and then attach it as a PDF file, and that would go into the Dropbox. If you would like to print this out and write on the piece of paper with this one, you can also slip it into one of our white mailing envelopes, the ones that you guys all should have gotten at least 10 of these at the beginning of the school year. Drop it into one of those white mailing envelopes and then send that to us as well, and that should get to me. If you do that, however, you will need to put a Word document into the Dropbox in order to allow you to move forward. When you do that, I do want you to state in the Word document that you mailed it, and then I want you to tell me the date in which it was mailed. So don't actually put a placeholder document in the Dropbox until that item is in the mail, so I know to expect it in just a few days. The other option is you can do some cutting and pasting and actually kind of cut and paste some of this stuff into Word and work that way, which is kind of what I'm going to do here because it's just another option I want to show you. So when you do that, you're going to be you are going to be kind of just copying and pasting the questions that you need to respond to. So under the procedure, it says here, scientists have reconstructed the Earth's magnetic polarity reversals over the past several million years. A record of these reversals is shown in figure 1, which is right here. Periods of normal polarity, when a compass would have pointed north, as it does today, are shown in grayscale. Periods of reverse polarity are shown in white. Record the number of times the Earth's magnetic field has reversed polarity in the last 4 million years. So you're going to be showing, okay, I'm going to go back to the textbook real quick and look at that one. Oops, sorry about that. Oh, excuse me. I said it says are shown in grayscale on the other screen, but it means are shown in color, which makes it a little bit trickier to see because when you look at the worksheet, I don't know if I would call black and white with black markings to be grayscale, but apparently that's what they mean. Anything other than white is considered normal polarity, and anything that's white is reverse polarity. So it's reverse polarity. You can count 1, little tiny one there, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in the last 4 million years. So you can kind of look at that, and that is an answer you will need to record. So what I've tried to do is I tried to copy and paste this whole PDF into a Word document, and it just comes up as a whole bunch of mishmash letters. So it doesn't work out real well. If you have a better version of Adobe Acrobat, we have a version at school here that I can use where I can actually convert it to a Word document. It does work. But if you don't have that, all you can do is copy and paste little pieces of it. So the best thing to do is just to highlight a single question at a time, because I do want the question in there, otherwise I'll have no idea what your response is for. And then copy that question over to Word, and then you can answer below. And I would prefer, when you answer, that you either highlight your answer or you write it in a different color. So, okay, so once you type that in there, it's super helpful to me if you put a highlight on it so that my eyes are kind of drawn to that a lot quicker, and it makes grading so much smoother and faster. All right, so going back to that sheet, it says the 3 diagrams in figure 2 on the next page illustrate the magnetic polarity reversals across sections of the mid-ocean ridges from the Pacific, South Atlantic, and North Atlantic Oceans. Periods of normal polarity are shown in the same gray scale, apparently, in the illustration above. Observe that the patterns of polarity in the rock match on either side of the ridge of the ocean basin. On the 3 ocean floor diagrams, identify and mark the periods of normal polarity with letters A through F. Begin at the Rift Valley and label along both sides of the ridge. Hint, the left side of the South Atlantic has already been done and can act as a guide. All right, so we need this picture. So you need to be able to select and copy this picture. Probably easiest thing to do is just to do a screen capture, which I do on a regular desktop by hitting Alt and Print Screen. If you are using your laptop, there should be a function key, FN, and you're also going to have to hit Print Screen simultaneously. And then when you go to your Word document, you can then hit Control V like Victor, and it has a nice little screen capture of me right in there. But if I double click on this, I should be able to, let me just move me out of the way. I should be able to go up on top where it says crop, and I can just go ahead and just crop this picture completely. And then I can highlight or just select the portion that I want. Goodness, that's always in the way. To crop, and I'm going to just get down right down to just to that part. And then what I will have to do is go back, hit crop again, and it gets rid of everything else that I don't want. And just to make this a little bit easier to see, I'm just going to click and drag, okay? So now I need to label this. And as you can see, they've done the left side of the South Atlantic. So to do the right side of the South Atlantic, I could use just a writing tool. See, insert, and I could use the writing tool here. I got a fancy little pen that actually helps me a little bit more. Oh, but I can't use it on that screen, so I'm going to have to use my hands. So this part here is A, okay? And then I got to select the tool again. I think you can double click on the tool and it's not supposed to go away, but okay. And then this one down here is B. Yeah, well, it did go away. So you're just going to label them. I mean, if you want to get a little fancier, you can use a text box and insert the text boxes, but you guys should know how to do that. So you're going to label all 3 pictures. Make sure you have all 3 pictures in there and labeled, okay? Okay, then going back to our worksheet, it's going to ask you to use the distance scale shown with the ocean floor diagrams to determine which ocean basin has spread the greatest distance during the last 2 million years. Measure from the center of the Rift Valley. So you have to remember, it says last 2 million years. So that means we have to refer back to this first page. And we notice that the 2 million year mark is right about where that little black and white speckled one looks like sprinkles, right? So I'm going to be measuring to the end of the sprinkle one, just like they have in this picture here. So I'm going to go back to my Word document. And this time I'm going to use my tools again up at the top. Insert, shapes, and I'm going to use a line tool. And I'm going to measure the distance from the center to the end of the sprinkles. I'm going to double click on that just to make it a little bit better, just easier to see, kind of fatten it up a little bit. You can change some effects here. I don't know. Maybe I'll just make it black. But what I need to do is I need to be able to draw. Oops. I need that scale that I cropped out of here. So, I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go back. Well, we'll say this is 40 kilometers. This is roughly a little bit over 2, right? The line that I drew right here, if I drag it over here and measure it compared to the one that I have up there, it's more than 39. And if I hold it right at the end of the 39 and I make it go a second time through, it's just a little bit over 2 39s. And 2 39s would be 78. So I'm going to say it's roughly 80 kilometers. Does that make sense? If you hadn't cropped the scale out initially, because if you look at the picture from the worksheet, there's a scale that goes along with this. Oops. Right in the corner. I cropped that out. I would recommend not cropping that out, and then you can use the scale to drag and measure the length of that line. Yeah, I did that accidentally. I don't think I can uncrop it, can I? Oh yeah, I can. Sweet. Okay, well, never mind then. Oh, come on. Okay, let's try that one more time. I still have my line. And I'm just going to bring this line down here now and measure it according to my scale. So that's 40 kilometers. I'm going to hold it, put my arrow right at the 0. Hold and drag it. And, you know, it is still the same. It's just a little bit more than 80. And I'm just going to roughly say 80 kilometers for number 1. For number 2, you're going to, again, get a line. And, I mean, you can take the same line here. But you're going to shrink it down so it only goes to the end of the sprinkles again, which is that way. And then you're going to click and drag this over and remeasure. Okay? If you don't have it on the computer, you would use a ruler, of course. And you would be able to measure the distance using the scale on the lower right corner of the images. Hopefully that makes some sense. All right, so finally, analyze and conclude. There's a little bit of math in this part, and I know some of you don't like to hear that word. In the first question, analyzing data, how many kilometers has the left side of the Pacific Basin spread in 2 million years? Okay, how many kilometers has it spread? Well, measure the distance on just the left side, okay, in the 2 years. What did we say it was? I don't remember. Let's look. Yep, this was the one we did up here, so that was about 80 kilometers. Remember, from the middle line all the way to the end of the sprinkles? That was about 80 kilometers. So we can say that's 80 kilometers. How many kilometers has the left side of the North Atlantic Basin spread in 2 million years? Going to have to measure that one. And then this question is the one that's tricky, and it's like poorly worded. But it says, how many kilometers has each ocean basin opened in the past 2 million years? What it wants is not just one side, but both sides. So think about the middle as being closed at the beginning, and then as it spreads, it's spreading on both the left and right sides, or the east and west sides, right? So you're going to measure the distance between the sprinkles here and the sprinkles over there. That whole distance needs to be measured for each one. Okay? That's what you're doing for that problem. And finally, you need to calculate the rate of seafloor spreading. Remember, rate is distance divided by time. So distance divided by time. You're going to change that kilometers to centimeters by multiplying. You're going to multiply the kilometers by 100,000 and divide by time.